I go through the draft, and I don't get drafted. And I remember I called my mom to talk about it with her, expecting what every son would expect from their mother on that most devastating day. And she's like, well, baby, God has given you every opportunity in football to give him the glory and to move into his direction. And you just keep denying him. And he's going to bring you to a place where you're going to come to him. And I remember just feeling like I got punched in the chest. I'm like, thanks, Mom. Appreciate this call, right? Like,
there's the praying, cheerleading support.
Exactly.
Have my back.
Is this my mom? What are you doing? And so I started thinking about it. And now I don't have a job playing football, so I get a job in North Carolina, and my fiance, or she was my girlfriend at the time, is working in Raleigh as well. And it kind of starts my interest in God. So I start going to a church, and I meet this pastor, and he hits me right in the face with it. And he's like, listen, what your mom is saying is truth. At some point, you're going to have to come to grips with you have a creator, and he is above you, and you are serving him. And whether you want to or not, he can bend you as far as you want to bend. And he will continue to bend until you end up succumbing to what he wants from you. Or the worst thing that can happen to you is he lets you go down that path. And I remember thinking about it, just thinking, man, this is not.
Here's another guy supporting and encouraging.
Yeah, exactly. This is not a, hey, man, you come to church every now and again and everything will be okay. And so I took it to heart and I began to make some changes, but I still wasn't fully sold out. I wasn't all in, and I didn't really make that decision. Well, I get signed by the Colts. And so I go to Indianapolis, and I walk in the locker room, and you can imagine what an NFL locker room looks like, right? It is just what I was in high school and college on a much grander scale. Now you give me money and give me more opportunities to do other things. And so there's two guys, Mark Thomas, who had won a Super Bowl with San Francisco and was now with the Colts, and Tony McCoy, who was a first-round draft pick, and they both have Bible studies. And so they both invite me. I'm like, I might as well go. I don't have any friends. Yeah, I got no money. I'm in Indianapolis, but so at least I can meet or hang around some people. And it got to a point maybe a month or two in where Mark sat me down. He said, hey, listen, I'm not trying to get weird on you. I'm not trying to get over spiritual. I just want you to think about this. I know you're a logical guy. You're a bright guy. Go in our locker room tomorrow and just look around and tell me who you want to be. You look at guys who are saved, and look at guys who are unsaved, and just decide where you want to be. And he said, but really look, don't just look at the money they're making. Don't just look at how successful they are on the field. Look at their lives. Look at who they are. Look at their friends. Look at their, family, their wives, their whatever. And so I sat down and I looked around the room, and some of the greatest names they'll ever play in our game are sitting in this locker room. I mean, I got one guy one day talking about buying an island. You know what I mean? So they got money. They got fame, they got women, they have everything that in a man's man world, you're taught that this makes you successful. Right? This defines you. If you got all this, you got everything. And I remember looking at those guys' lives, and then I knew, last Sunday, his wife and his girlfriend were in a fist fight in the family room. His kids don't talk to him. He doesn't even know where his kids are. I mean, I thought about it, and I was contemplating on it. And then I looked at the guys who had come to Christ. And they had a different feel. Their marriages were solid. Not that they didn't have problems, right? But there was a piece about it that stood out. And I saw that, and I was like, that's what I want. And that's what I want my legacy to be. I don't want to end in a flash and everything be over because I can no longer snap or can no longer play. And I got saved, and I remember I called my wife, and I said, hey, I've been going to these Bible studies, and it was weird, right? She's like, that's weird. And I'm like, yeah, but listen, I've learned some really cool stuff. And her response to me was, well, it's better than a strip club. And so that just shows you the bar. That was the standard that I had set, right? Was that I'm either going to be here. And yeah, exactly. I'm a top shelf guy. And she was still in North Carolina, and I was in Indianapolis, and she moves up. And the next night is Bible study. And so I'm like, hey, you can go to Bible study with me on Monday night, it'd be really cool. And she goes with me, and she's sitting beside me. And Dave Jamerson is giving the message, and he was talking about people's testimony. And she's crying, all right? I mean, and I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, why are you crying? What are you doing?
What's wrong with you, baby?
I'm like, you are representing me. I don't even know these guys. I'm not sure why you're crying right now. And And she looks at Dave, and he said, so what is your testimony? Do you have a testimony? And my wife looked at him, she said, I don't have one now, but a year from now I will. And we made a commitment to each other. We're going to live for Christ, and we're going to do our marriage differently than our other families have, and we're going to be different and be set apart.